Welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another off-season rebuild, and today we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last season, the Timberwolves went 42-40. That was good enough for a play-in spot where they ended up coming out of the play-in as the 8 seed. Now, they did lose to the eventual champion Denver Nuggets in 5 games, but this is a team that has some promise and definitely has some flaws. Now, the Rudy Gobert contract and that trade as a whole is definitely something I think this franchise would go back and probably change. I don't think they still make that big blockbuster trade. They probably focus their time and their assets on somebody else, but he is here. He's under contract. We're going to see what we can do with him today. Anthony Edwards obviously is just incredible. We have absolutely no plans of moving on from him. Signed a big extension with this team in the offseason. You have Karl-Anthony Towns here as well. And there's definitely some flexibility with this team and what we can do. So I am excited to kind of build up this Timberwolves team. They are in an interesting position where they definitely do have some talent, but they're also almost stuck in a way because I don't think anybody wants that Gobert contract. So I'm interested to see the direction we take with this team today, but ultimately, end goal is to bring this team a championship. And of course, as I ask every video, let me know what you guys want to see down below in the comment section. We are in absolute limbo right now in terms of waiting till 2K24 and the next season to start, and yeah, just 2K23. Definitely getting a little bit stale right now. I do not blame you guys for, agreeing with me in that take, but there's definitely some things we can still do to make 2K23 fun while we still have it here. And of course, and when, August comes and when we truly are kind of battling out these final weeks of 2K, we definitely can do some other things, whether it's, some quizzes or whatever it may be. I knew a lot of people are doing the grid challenges, so let me know if you guys want to see any of that down below in the comment section. I'd be happy to do it when, the time does come. So without further ado, man, we have to do this Timberwolves rebuild. It's a fun one. I think there's definitely some things we can do today to entertain this rebuild, so let's get into it. All right, so let's dive into this Timberwolves roster a little bit. This is going to be a 3-year rebuild. I don't think this qualifies as like one of those super young teams that needs 5 years, but let's just get into it, go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. So Mike Conley is probably not a long-term answer at the point guard spot for me. He's 35 years old on a 1-year deal. This honestly is starting to feel like one of those rebuilds where I might even make somewhat of a big move before the first season starts. Now, I'm sure most of you guys know this, but typically the way I like to or have been doing these off-season rebuilds is I kind of leave the team somewhat similar to what I think it'll look like at the start of next year in real life. Now, this is not a realistic rebuild. I just kind of like doing that. But today might be an exception. We'll see. Shake Milton they signed. It's technically a 2-year deal. I think the second year is just not fully guaranteed. It's a team option in here. I already checked. Jordan McLaughlin is here. He's 27 years old. Probably won't play too much. We will see. Anthony Edwards, best player on this team. He's going to be the face of the franchise moving forward. The contract extension is not updated because you can't edit contracts in the offseason. It will be the first thing I do come the start of next season. Nickeil Alexander-Walker technically re-signed on a 2-year deal. I don't know why that's in there like that, but I'll update it at the start of next year. Jalen Clark, I believe, was a second-round pick for them this year. He was. Small forward spot, Jaden McDaniels. We're going to see if we can develop him enough to the point where we're comfortable with him as our starting small forward moving forward. Now, I also don't necessarily mind eventually at some point having him come off the bench. We will see, and we're going to go year to year. Troy Brown Jr. signed a 1-year deal. Wendell Moore is here. Leonard Miller is here. Josh Minot's here. Again, a lot of young guys. We're going to have to see what kind of works out and what doesn't. Ultimately, they're not all going to be getting playing time here. So, yeah, we'll kind of go on a day-to-day basis. Power forward spot, Karl-Anthony Towns. Once upon a time was a center, and in all honesty, probably is a center. And that's not to say he's not a tremendous shooting three-point big man. I mean, he is. We all know that. But for me, I think Cat is more of a center. Maybe not the traditional center, but he's 7 feet tall. The man's a center, no matter which way you want to put it. Kyle Anderson is here, 1 year, $9 million contract. Again, we're gonna play it by ear. I know I'm just gonna keep saying that, but it's the truth of the matter. Rudy Gobert, 31 years old, obviously a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner, and I don't know. He's gonna regress. I know that for a fact, and based on the money, I'd honestly rather start Naz Reid. So I don't know what direction I'm gonna go with Gobert. I'm not just gonna give him away for nothing because I still do think he is a good player. I just don't really think his play style necessarily translates to how much money he's making in today's NBA, but we're going to see. So that's the team. Obviously, there is a little bit of flexibility with what we do before the start of year one, but I am excited to see the moves we could make, especially if they're big moves before the start of year one. So let's see what we can do. I'd love to add Markelle Fultz to this team. Again, we don't have a ton of assets right now, so we can't make like a significant blockbuster trade for an upgrade at the point guard spot. Now, Markelle Fultz, 82 overall, obviously much younger than Mike Conley, and yes, I would prefer to have him, but we just really don't have the assets to make anything too big go through. So, again, if they can take this with picks, I'll do it. I don't even know if they're going to have the money to potentially pull this off if I include another player, Wendell Moore Jr., and they agree to that. All right, so Markelle Fultz is going to be the new point guard here moving forward. Obviously, we get a whole lot younger with him, and again, he had a pretty good revival to his career almost. I don't know if revival is necessarily the word I want to say, but when he had a new home in Orlando, he played a lot better than he did, obviously, in Philadelphia. So, excited to have him here. In terms of a Rudy Gobert trade, there could still be one coming. I just do not know exactly what it's going to be, so I'm going to look for that. If I find it, I'll obviously show you guys. If not, honestly, at this point, I'll just probably see you guys at the start of year one. So, who knows what's next? Year one for us here in Minnesota, and here's how it is going to look. It's going to be Markelle Fultz, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. I was not able to find a Rudy Gobert trade that I really felt was a good one, per se. So, there definitely were trades, and there were offers for Rudy Gobert, but ultimately, the majority of them actually had me including a first-round draft pick, and the ones that didn't were just flat-out awful. So, for me, the cost wasn't really worth giving him up. So, Rudy Gobert is here for now. Definitely not saying we're not going to explore trade in the offseason, because in all likelihood we will, but he's going to be our starting center here moving forward. The bench unit's interesting because Kyle Anderson will be the sixth man. I don't love having big men or traditional big men centers. You understand what I'm saying, as my sixth man. So, Naz Reid will not be that, but I guess Kyle Anderson as a power forward, technically a big man, but you understand where I'm coming from. Shake Milton, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and then Troy Brown Jr. So by no means is this the greatest bench I've ever had. It's definitely something I want to focus on come offseason, and obviously only one real major change with Markelle Fultz in the starting five. So here's to nothing, man. I honestly have no idea how this team's going to do. I have a sneaky suspicion we'll probably be like a 7 seed, but 2K surprises me sometimes, whether it's good or bad. See you guys at the end of year one. Year one comes to an end. We go 43 and 39. Now, I don't really know where that kind of falls in the totem pole in terms of standing. I feel like you could be anywhere from like a 4 seed all the way down to play-in. It really kind of goes year by year. So we'll see. Ja Morant's your MVP. Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. CP3, 6th man. Anthony Davis is your DPOY. Isaiah Jackson, Most Improved. And Nick Nurse, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Is your coach of the year. So let's take a full look at the standings, and we actually end up as the 8th seed here in the play-in. Again, you see 43 wins here is a play-in team. You see 46 wins here is a 4 seed. So again, really not that big of a difference, but it's crazy how these things all kind of play themselves out. We'll be facing the Lakers in the first round of the play-in. 49 wins honestly took the 1 seed in the West. Pretty crazy to see. But let's take a look at the numbers on the year, see who played well, see who did not. Edwards was super solid. Towns honestly played really well. Markelle Fultz was just tremendous. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is exactly kind of the resurgence that I was hoping for. Now, I wasn't even expecting numbers this good. 21 points, basically 4 boards, 9 assists, 1.5 steals a game, shot 53% from the field. Now, I don't really, so 3-point percentage isn't quite there, but still, insane season for Fultz. Now, we take a look at Gobert, Naz Reid. I don't know. I'm so torn. Like, again, I don't expect Rudy Gobert to be going out there and putting up, like, Anthony Davis numbers. But, like, you know what I'm saying? We're paying the man a lot of money, and I don't really truly feel like his impact's, kind of felt that much. So, speaking of Anthony Davis, we're going to be taking on him and LeBron here in the first round of the play-in. Hopefully we win and we're in the playoffs, because that's what happens here, and we end up losing. So, now we are going to be moving on to the second round. Let's just play through it, and we lose. Awesome. Exactly what I was hoping for. So, we're not in the playoffs. It means we're going to have a lottery pick again. It's fine. It's going to be a Pelicans and an Atlanta Hawks finals. And the Pelicans end up winning in 7, and 23-year-old Zion Williamson is your finals MVP. See what happens when you don't play with injuries on. All right, let's hit the draft lottery. We're projected the 14th overall selection, as you saw there. We have a 1% chance of actually getting the number 1 overall pick. I don't know. Get a little lucky today? That'd be nice. Oh, no, we are not going to be doing that. But we sit there right at 14, which, honestly, it is what it is. I mean, Chris Finch is the head coach here. I'm going to move in a new direction. I am. And that's not me going to sit here. I'm not going to shit on Chris Finch, but I don't know if he's the right guy today. Stauffer obviously helps teams out a lot with his perfect ratings. I mean, it really doesn't get any better. So I feel like today's one of those rebuilds where we could definitely use him. 14th overall pick. Now, the bench is a little bit weak, so I definitely think this 14th overall selection could help us add a pretty key bench piece down the line. If you're looking at our other assets, I mean, there's not much. We have a first-round pick swap in 2026. We now have access to our 2028 first, but there's really no other assets from any other teams. There's barely any of our own first-round picks. This is definitely going to be a challenge trying to capitalize out of this. On top of the fact that it looks like Jaden McDaniels is on his period, looks like his shot tendency is not up or whatever, and he doesn't want to re-sign with us. We're gonna see what happens with that. I know I can re-sign him. It's not that big of a deal. But first and foremost, I want to get it off the books, man. I think it's time to move on from Rudy Gobert. I honestly don't think he's worth the money that he's getting paid here in the game anyway, specifically. And I might give Naz Reid a shot at the starting center spot. Also, in terms of the Edwards extension, I put it in. It's quite literally the max I can give him per year. It's like whatever. I can show you, actually. It's like 31 point whatever million. It's probably not accurate, but that's literally the highest dollar amount I can go up to. So let's find the Rudy Gobert trade. I tried a bunch of manual trades, and ultimately I wasn't able to find anything. And yeah, this looks like it's the best we're going to be able to do. So it's the deal we're going to take. Rudy Gobert, number 14 overall, heading over to Oklahoma City for number 8 overall, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we're at the stage where Rudy Gobert is just going to do nothing but regress. And obviously, he has 1 year and then a player option left, and it's still a lot of money. So we're going to pull the trigger on this deal. We're going to go ahead and make the trade. And it's a trade I don't love, but it's one that I think is for the best interest of the team. So, Rudy Gobert, thank you for your time, but yeah, no thanks. So now we do have the 8th overall pick. So we did move up a few spots, which is obviously great, leaving us kind of with an open avenue for Naz Reid to take over at the starting center spot and hopefully maximize that potential. But number 8 overall is definitely not a bad thing to have. We also did acquire Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, I do wonder if I were to include these two in a trade, one, is there anybody else I could trade for that I maybe would prefer a little bit more? And then secondary, is there a possibility of moving up a little bit further into the draft as well? Yeah, I'm not seeing any trades I love. I saw an Aaron Gordon possibility. That one's not terrible, but no, nothing there. So, you know what? We're going to use number 8. We're going to select somebody at number 8. We will sim all the way up there. I'll show you guys just the summary of the draft so far. Justin Edwards. It's been tossed. It's not Matt. Rizinger, Holland, Williams. So these are all the small forwards kind of going off the board here that we potentially could draft. You know who didn't go yet, though, is Isaiah Collier is still here. Wow. Wow. Oh, man. This is a tough spot because, in all honesty, Markelle Fultz has played amazing for us, but I know how well Isaiah Collier develops because I've seen it throughout these videos. So, you know what? I think he's going to be my pick here. If any of the small forwards were still on the board, they're probably who I'm taking there, but I think this is a prime opportunity to draft Isaiah Collier. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% trading Markelle Fultz, but in a situation like this, I think this is the smart pick. He's 78 overall. I kind of knew that coming off of it, and I'm excited to have him here. So Troy Brown Jr., Leonard Miller, and Jalen Clark all going to be coming back. Again, these could be trade pieces for us. Qualifying offers. I will qualify Jaden McDaniels. I know he's all pissy right now for some reason. It's his shot tendency. So yeah, Markelle Fultz, I definitely want to re-sign. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's a possibility we work on some, BS sign-in trade or whatever. Because I do kind of think there's an avenue where we could maybe build something if we upgrade at the starting small forward spot. And that's not to say McDaniel's playing bad. He's honestly fitting his role in what I kind of hoping he was doing. But I think he could do that off the bench as well. So definitely do not renounce Jaden McDaniels. We actually have a $29, almost $30 million trade exception for Rudy Gobert. So that's actually really big. But yeah, we're going to get McDaniels back after. How much does he want? Oh, he won't. Okay. Good God. Okay, one more day, and let me just go find Jalen McDaniels. Jaden, not Jalen. Okay, McDaniels. They make this way too damn challenging. Okay, Jaden McDaniels wants about $13 million a year. We'll up it to 14. Hopefully there's no hard feelings. And now there's a possibility of a trade coming. All right, so I wasn't able to find a Markelle Fultz trade that I loved. So I'm going to try something for one season. And if it works, we're going to roll with it for the rest of this video. If not, we'll make the big trade next offseason. So Fultz will still be our starting point guard. We're going to start Isaiah Collier at the 2, which means Anthony Edwards will take over at the 3. Now, I always knew in the back of my mind we could play Ant at the 3. It wasn't a problem. It was really just finding that shooting guard, and ultimately, I wasn't really able to find anybody that I thought was going to perform as well at shooting guard that Markelle Fultz did last year at point guard. So, Collier, maybe not a traditional shooting guard, but honestly, it's today's NBA. It doesn't really matter. So, right now, I'm going to kind of focus on some of the smaller details. Like Jalen Clark, in all honesty, probably not going to get any minutes here. If there's any way I can get a draft pick, like thank you very much, Milwaukee, this is absolutely exactly what I'm looking for. Just kind of reloading on some assets, potentially bolstering this team down the line. Now, I also don't need both Kyle Anderson and Dorian Finney-Smith. I think there's probably an argument for me to trade like Troy Brown Jr., Leonard Miller, and Josh Minott as well. So, again, I don't think we're necessarily doing a bad thing right now. I think we're kind of just preparing for the future in terms of assets. So, unless I can find a center here, I'm probably just going to go ahead and move him for a draft pick because I'm definitely getting offered a lot of draft picks. Which one of these do I think will be the most valuable? Honestly, this Wizards. Oh, it's a Phoenix pick. All right, whatever. And then in terms of some of the other complementary pieces, I think Dorian Finney-Smith can honestly probably get me a center. At least I hope so. I could go Mitchell Robinson. I'm not going to trade a first-round pick for a backup center. Jalen Williams is here. I've gotten him a few times recently. Christian Coloco. Oh, man. I know I actually feel like I don't get Rashawn Holmes a lot. You know what? Screw it. We'll bring in Rashawn Holmes. He's going to be the new backup big man. Obviously, we're giving Naz Reid kind of the go and the nod at the center spot this year, so he'll be starting. And then Leonard Miller, Josh Minott also going to be moved on from just because, again, really you're never going to be able to get the opportunity here. And I'm going to value the first-round picks over them. I really am. So thank you very much, Atlanta. And then in terms of one more future first for Josh Minott, thank you very much, Utah. See you guys at the start of year 2. We're now here at the start of year 2 in Minnesota, and quite honestly, I have no idea what to expect out of this team. I feel like it could really go well, and we might not expect that, or it could really go bad, and I'm also not expecting that, but I don't really know which way it's going to go. So I am excited to see how this team kind of fits together. It's going to be interesting to say the least. It's Markelle Fultz, Isaiah Collier, Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Naz Reid. Again, I know there's a ton of flexibility with this team because ultimately, if this rotation doesn't work, there's an argument to maybe move Cat back to the center spot, maybe go find a new power forward. We could obviously move on from Fultz or Collier. I mean, there's a million different things we can do. Quite literally, to be honest with you, the only person that I am 100% not trading through this rebuild is right here, is Anthony Edwards. He's not going anywhere no matter what. So he'll be here. Bench unit's going to be Jaden McDaniels, Kyle Anderson, Shake Milton, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Rashawn Holmes. So it's an okay bench. I do think it got a little bit better now that we do have McDaniels off there. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. We wrap up year 2 with a record of 46-36. Now, it's not great, and honestly, we're just kind of the middle of the pack team right now. So unless we have some crazy offseason, there very well could be a big move coming this offseason. Luka Doncic is your MVP. Isaiah Collier actually won a Rookie of the Year for us. 14.5 points, 4 rebounds, 8.5 assists. It's great to see. It really is. Azar Thompson, 6th Man of the Year. Victor Wembanyama wins a DPOY. Thompson also wins Most Improved. JB Bickerstaff's your Coach of the Year. So, going to be some big decisions. Obviously, we do have a playoff run ahead of us. We are a 6th seed, so we're in the playoffs. We have Memphis in round 1. And, yeah, let's just battle until we're out. So, let's see what happens. Here's a look at the numbers on the year. Everything kind of honestly went as according to plan. I mean, these numbers aren't even that different from Rudy Gobert. Let's just be quite honest with each other. Rebounds led by Naz Reid, and assists was Markelle Fultz. So, as I mentioned, round 1 is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant, Zaire Williams. Dillon Brooks is back in Memphis. No fucking shot, right? Triple J, they added Alperen Şengün, which I'm assuming they probably ended up trading Desmond Bane for him, but that's insane. That is absolutely insane that Dillon Brooks is back there. All right, we are currently down 2-1. We tie it 2-2. We go down 3-2. We get bounced in round 1. All right, it is a, we tried. We tried to, I guess, kind of keep the, I don't want to say majority of this core together, but we tried to build what we had. It didn't happen, and it's time for some big moves. So we're going to be getting into those, and I am excited for them and kind of see what they look like. Let's hit the draft lottery real quick. I don't think any of the picks we traded for were for this year. I don't see a Timberwolves logo anyways, so even if they were, they weren't lottery picks. Yeah, I literally don't see a Timberwolves name anywhere. So it doesn't look like we have any picks this year. Potentially something down the line. All right, can't get any better than Stauffer. Up to the draft. Just want to confirm that we don't actually have any first-round picks this year. Along with seconds, we do not. Fine by me. We do have some draft assets, though, that we can now move in a trade, potentially making some sort of blockbuster, superstar trade, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's look at free agency. Do we have any major free agents? Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Rashawn Holmes. The answer to that question would be no. All right, let's start cooking up a trade. I think it is finally time to make the move. I definitely might get some pushback here, and understandably why, but we're going to make this trade with the Pistons. We're going to be sending Karl-Anthony Towns and a future first-round pick to Detroit. Jaden Ivey is going to be coming back here, and he's going to be my new starting shooting guard. Now, Jaden Ivey, 23 years old, is getting nothing but better, and I'm really excited to see how he kind of fits to this team. Not saying Karl-Anthony Towns has been playing like shit or he's bad. He's just making so much goddamn money, and honestly, it kind of does limit some of the moves we can make. Here and now, we add a young piece on a rookie scale deal with Jaden Ivey. He's only going to go up in overall, so I'm very excited to add him to this team. Karl-Anthony Towns, unfortunately, no longer going to be a member here. So welcome to the team, Jaden Ivey. He's obviously taken over at the shooting guard spot, which means now we either have to trade Collier or we have to trade Fultz. I don't know which one it's going to be, Fultz, in all honesty, came back down to earth a little bit this season. He did play incredibly well for us this past, or 2 seasons ago. And that's not saying he played like shit for us. I mean, 17 points, almost 9 assists again is good. But I do truly, wow, the 3-point percentage got even worse. I do truly think there's probably an upgrade out there. And honestly, Isaiah Collier just won a Rookie of the Year. I'd rather give him the nod. So let's find a Markelle Fultz trade. So I would love to try to add Pascal Siakam to this team. Obviously, trading Karl-Anthony Towns kind of leaves it a little bit of a hole at our starting power forward spot, and Pascal Siakam would come in. He'd obviously take over those responsibilities. So that's going to be the offer. I didn't think they were taking that. At this point in time, we do have some draft assets, which is obviously nice. And heading into the final season, we can just trade them all. They can't take them with us. So let's go ahead, just see if they'll do this. It takes 3, but we do go ahead and we add Pascal Siakam to this team. So what I'm going to kind of focus on now is potentially reshaping the bench a little bit. There's also an argument on potentially upgrading our starting center spot. I'm still kind of going to play it. I don't know. I really don't, because I truly do believe that it's not going to matter a ton. With the talent we've added to this team, I don't think it's going to change too much. But I still am a little bit iffy on if Naz Reid can be a starting center on a championship team. Now, I do think we have a ton of talent on this team, and I truly do believe that. But we're going to see. If not, I'll see you guys with some moves to upgrade the bench. I wasn't able to find a trade for an upgrade at the center spot, but we actually had a little bit of cap space. And with that, we're going to sign Kelly Oubre Jr. We're going to bring him in. We're going to re-sign Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and he's a potential trade piece. And I am excited because I think Kelly Oubre Jr. is going to help this bench a lot. I really do. And honestly, I was a little surprised we even had any cap space. But I'm excited to have him here. Definitely going to be a beneficial piece for us. Obviously, we have McDaniels coming off the bench as well. We still got Anderson. So I think it should be enough. We're going to now trade Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and we're going to see if we can either find a new backup point guard or a new backup center. So let's just look at some offers. I'll do this in a first and then a second. I am looking for point guard or center. Nick Richards, yeah, that's probably my guy. I haven't gotten him in a minute. I know some of you guys told me to chill on getting him, but it actually has been quite actually a bit of time. So yeah, Nick Richards is going to come in. He's going to be a new backup center. And then in terms of the point guards, we have, I don't love any of these options, to be quite honest with you. What I actually might do is like sign Jose Alvarado, and then, because I do have 2 first-round picks left, I might sign Jose Alvarado and then kind of include the 2 first-round picks I have remaining. See if we can find an upgrade. If we can, that'd be great. If not, we'll just kind of roll with what we got. So let's see. Any upgrades in terms of the point guard spot? Not really seeing much. Yeah, there's really nothing here. All right, screw it. Jose Alvarado will be my guy. And in terms of, are there any other upgrades I can make? Like, genuinely curious. Like, if I do Naz Reid, Nick Richards, and like a first-round pick, is there no starting centers that are really that much better? Guess not. Keegan Murray's here, but no, not really. Precious Chua, Jakob Poeltl, yeah, I mean, these aren't like significant upgrades, even if they are upgrades. So, guess I'll see you guys at the start of year 3. We are currently here at the start of year 3, and now that we have an access to another draft pick, along with some of like the mid-level guys the team signed for me, I'd like to make an upgrade, and I think Jarrett Allen would definitely be a significant upgrade at our starting center spot, and we get that trade done. It's not a knock against Naz Reid, but here in a final season, when I'm really trying to go for a championship, I needed an upgrade at the center spot, and that is exactly what Jarrett Allen did. I mean, just look at how this man's playing. Now let's set the rotation. After another disappointing playoff exit, we have completely changed the direction that we wanted to go with this team, completely blowing up the roster, adding a bunch of new pieces. Here's how it's going to look. It's Isaiah Collier, Jaden Ivey, Anthony Edwards, Pascal Siakam, and Jarrett Allen. The bench unit's really good. It's Jaden McDaniels, Kelly Oubre Jr., Nick Richards, Jose Alvarado, Kyle Anderson. I'm excited to see how this team kind of fits together. Hopefully it works, because this is it. See you guys at the end of the 3rd and final season. It is safe to say we turned some things around here in our final season. The changes have worked, at least in the regular season. We went 70-12 here as Giannis Antetokounmpo wins another MVP, this time in New York. Masala Bagyoka is your Rookie of the Year. Azar Thompson, 6th man once again. Giannis wins another DPOY. Trenton Flowers, Most Improved. 70-12, man. Coach of the Year for Mike Stauffer. All right, so obviously there's still a lot of pressure on us. It's not like we've won a damn thing at this point. And I don't take 70-win seasons as championships or good enough for videos. So here's a look at the numbers on the year. I'm very happy with kind of how everything turned out. I like the bench pieces we added. I like the trades we made with the starters. Isaiah Collier was brilliant. I mean, it looked like we made the right decision so far. It is Memphis here in round 1. Ja Morant, Zaire Williams, David Roddy now here. Okay, this team's changed a little bit since we faced them last year and lost to them last year. And yeah, we're up 3-0 right now. Make it 3-1. Don't do this. Thank you. All right, in round 2, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James still going strong here at the age 41. Obviously, AD, Malik Monk back in Los Angeles. D'Lo here. Oh my God, Larry Markkanen's coming off the bench. Why would you not start him at the 4? Okay, God bless 2K's heart. That's insane, though, that you have him coming off the bench. We are currently up 3-1, though. We do end up winning in 5. Moving on to the Oklahoma City Thunder, a really good team. This is Matas Buzelis, not Matt Buzelis. The game's fucking stupid. We're up 2-0 right now. We're up 3-0. Okay, is that the Hornets in the finals? Isaiah Collier. It looks like we made the right decision. And yeah, it's LaMelo Ball and the rest of the Hornets. Amari Bailey, Brandon Miller. Holy shit, I thought this said Jokic for a second. They have Michael Porter Jr. coming off the bench. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to win a championship here. That would be a nice way to cap this one off. We're up 3-1 right now. We're going back to Minnesota here for Game 5. If we could close them out on our home floor, that would obviously be great. And I'm feeling good right now. I am. I'm very happy. I mean, it was obviously a big risk with some of the moves we made, but looks like they worked out. See you guys in there. All right, so we're about to close out the Charlotte Hornets here in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. That is obviously awesome, and I'm happy because I was nervous. Don't get me wrong. I mean, trading away Karl-Anthony Towns, who's kind of been a staple of this team throughout their rebuild process, that's a horrible decision by me, was definitely a big decision, and it's one that I didn't take lightly, don't get me wrong, but I think it is one that we had to make because, again, we were able to get guys like Kelly Oubre because we were able to give him up. We had cap space. Obviously, the trade for Jaden Ivey was incredible. Got Jarrett Allen as well. I mean, just all these moves we made were, I was definitely nervous about them. I did not think that a lot of them were going to happen, especially the Jarrett Allen one, and I think that's definitely helped us out a lot here. So you got Reggie Bullock in the game right now. That's an interesting decision. Where is Anthony Edwards, by the way? Did he foul out? I'm assuming he probably fouled out. But, yeah, Brandon Miller going, oh, my God, Jarrett Allen. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of do this over here. Jarrett Allen back outside. I'm only going to do like one more possession. This is, I mean, the game's over. It's not really that entertaining. But Reggie Bullock going up. He's going to miss and kick it back out here to Isaiah Collier. Fuck it. Pull it with Jaden Ivey. Misses. Oh, I thought we were getting a pour with Siakam. All right. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, again, I enjoyed this rebuild. It went a lot better than I thought it would. And I'm pretty happy. So, final offensive possession coming up here. Okay, I don't need to see LaMelo crossing me out of my mind. Let's just go pick and roll with Isaiah Collier, who I'm very happy we ended up not only drafting him, but kind of rolling with him and keeping him. So, drive down to the rim, going to go up and get his shit stuff. Not the way I wanted that to go. We get the putback. See you guys at the Finals MVP. We end up winning in 5, beating the Charlotte Hornets, and Anthony Edwards is your Finals MVP. What a way to cap off this rebuild. I know I said it to open the video. The only guy who was literally untouchable for me was Anthony Edwards. And honestly, of the core that we started out with, the only players still here are Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Kyle Anderson. So, interesting decisions here and there, but we do end up capping it off with a championship, and I am very happy about it. And I'm pretty sure Timberwolves fans would be happy with this as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like down below. That would obviously be awesome. Of course, you guys are new around here. We'd love to have you here in the community. Feel free to subscribe. Stick around a while. Other than that, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comments section. You guys are also very, very creative, so I'm sure you guys can come up with something. And yeah, that's pretty much wraps this one up. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.